Welcome to our weekly market review brought to you by Treasury One and ETM Analytics. As always, I'm joined by Treasury One's currency strategist, Andre Salea. Andre, it's a battle of the beasts at the moment. How does the old saying go? When two bulls fight, the grass gets trampled, right? As Trump has rolled back. He has rolled back some of his tariffs, but not on China, apart from some tech exemptions, at least for the time being. You know, you never like sure what's going to happen and what's going to come for us. But these two countries now at a ridiculous loggerheads, actually.
Elsa Marie, yes, good morning and good day to everybody who's going to watch this. They're at loggerheads, and it's interesting that the Chinese at the last round of their increases to 125 said that that's where they stop. They're not going to increase further because it's becoming a joke.
Yes.
Now, there's a glimmer of hope. You can now import your iPhone into America without any tariffs. You know, so now beginning to nitpick what we can import and what the tariffs on a certain product is. I'm just glad that I don't have to manage that on the American side, because that must be becoming an absolute nightmare. But the name of the game is tariffs. The name of the game is a tariff war. The rollback of a 90 or reprieve of a 90-day for the rest of the world went very well and was digested very well by the markets. Not digested that well for the US dollar, but we'll get to that. The word is, in other words, still tariffs. And I think one should look a little beyond the word tariffs and look at the implication of tariffs. And the implication of tariffs remain the possibility of higher prices for consumers, the possibility of an impact of that higher inflation on world economic growth, the impact of that filtering through to what can be expected on monetary policy side because of higher inflation or the possibility of higher inflation, the flight to safe haven products, and, you know, what other than tariffs can you apply to fight this war? Because there might be more tools in your arsenal. Now, in the case of America and China, the Chinese sits with a massive amount of US treasuries. In other words, government debt for the Americans. Their government debt that eats up, in terms of interest payments, a huge portion of their budget. If they start selling off those US treasuries, in other words, moving out of the funding of government debt in the United States, that's got a massive impact on the yields, because that simply means that the yields go up. If they then have to reissue new treasuries, it comes at a higher price, especially on the long end, which means that their interest debt as a percentage of their budget just keeps going up. So not good for the Americans. So there's another weapon in the arsenal of China. And if one looks at the movement of US treasuries and you look at the movement of the gold price, then it clearly tells me that the Chinese is exactly doing that, selling US treasuries, buying a safe haven asset like gold. So we've got, I don't want to call it a runaway gold price, but huge interest in gold as a safe haven and a change in US Treasury yields. And that could impact very badly for the United States. And that could spell doom and gloom for the value of the dollar.
Yes, it's one of those things that has a lot of people scratching their heads. And I remember during Trump's campaign, with all his promises that he made, there were several commenters commentators that said, Trump is definitely going to be bullish for the US dollar. And we looked at this and it's not a clear-cut case. It's not a clear-cut case that a Trump presidency is going to support the US dollar, and we've been proven right with what's been going on with the US dollar sell-offs and the equity markets. It's uncertainty that's really just inflaming the market. And you add to this trade war, like you said, it's at a ridiculous point, because these tariffs just can continuing to go up with no end in sight. So there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of distortion happening, there's a lot of uncertainty, and of course we know that never ends well for the rand. So I don't know if we can jump to that first, because I know a lot of people would like to perhaps know, how do we manage the risk that our currency can face in light of all of this?
Okay, so I just want to take one step back and say, one of the things that Donald Trump says is, I'm imposing all these tariffs because I need to adjust trade balances between countries so that I don't have this huge trade deficit with certain people. So come and manufacture your goods in America. Problem with this is, a factory does not get built in 2 weeks. It takes a while for that factory to be built, to become up and running, and actually start producing. By that time, you might not be in charge anymore, and you might not be the president. And that means, what happens to my factory then? What happens to tariffs then? And so forth and so forth. So all of these uncertainties makes investors sit tight on their money and not investing. And that's the problem. Uncertainty has never been the friend of investors. Let's move on to the rand. All of this has got an impact on the world. It's got an impact on the world economies. It's got an impact on expectancies of growth, etc., etc. And I've just used investors' uncertainty as the barometer of how things could gel out. In the meantime, things look a little bit better this morning after this weekend's discussions between the DA, the Freedom Front, and all other political parties with the ANC. So the political risk looks a little bit softer in South Africa. Last week, after the reprieve and the postponement of tariffs for 90 days, we had immediately seen a reaction on the dollar value of the rand's value against the dollar. We had seen at that stage less of a move against the euro and so forth. So the rand remained relatively weak. After this weekend, and we've seen this morning that the rand's pulled back even more, and even the cross rates looks a little bit better. In other words, that tells me that the political risk premium is getting a little bit reduced. So the chances are, if this continues, we have a little bit of stability out of the happenings around tariffs out of the Americas, and the GNU and so forth stays intact, fragile but intact, then we could see the rand moving down to levels of 1850 to 1950, which is not strong levels. But the volatility will remain as long as we don't have certainty, and that's not going to come back in a week's time. So on this volatile periods, if you look at markets, there is products that you can use to manage your risk, to take some of this volatility out of your income statement, to make your pricing of your products, to make the consistency of your imports or exports a little bit more smooth and giving you a little bit more certainty. I would strongly advise, and I've said this many a time, the only way that we're going to get through this volatile periods is with solid risk management principles. if you are going to try and pick high and low levels on the currency, you are likely to lose money, because that would be like playing black or red on the roulette table. And that's dangerous. That's not risk management. So I would strongly advise, if you do not have the knowledge, is to get in contact with a risk advisor that could assist you with these things, to steer through these volatile periods, because it's going to be with us for quite some time.
Well, talking about risk management, the ANC is meeting with the National Executive Committee, which is obviously their top structure, and how to best navigate their risky position within the GNU. Will it remain intact? Like you said, I think they will be a good thing, but at least hopefully after today's meeting, which is on Monday, we will have one point of uncertainty clarified and whether or not we have a government of national unity to continue with. Andre, I think we're going to have a jam-packed couple of weeks. There's a lot of public holidays, but in between, I'm sure we'll catch up with Altron's moves in between, of course. So thank you very much, and we will chat again soon.
Thank you very much.